afternoon to everyone. First and foremost, thank you very much to Dr. Sonia Lohana for organizing and arranging this beautiful event, and to all participants who are joining us this afternoon. We really appreciate that. All right, and Sonia, can I share my slides?
Sure, Prof. Can.
Can everyone see my slides?
Yes, Prof. We can.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay, once again, welcome to everyone to this our first postgraduate webinar 01 that organized by our postgraduate unit under our faculty Technology Management and Business at UTHM. And thank you very much to Dr. Sonia Lohana. She's actually the one who actually initiated this idea to conduct this session as soon as possible. So luckily enough, because today, even though my schedule quite tight, but at this particular time, I still can allocate my time to be with you guys. Yeah. All right. So based on my observation and based on my experience and based on my study and also based on my investigation, I can see that many students or majority of this year, they got stuck in the first 3 months up to 6 months of their journey. And the worst scenario, even a year, some people or some students, they still got stuck and they have no idea what to do in their research. They still struggling to understand why this research is all about and what is the main topic and how to conduct this research. And some of them, they still don't know who is their respondent and which area that they want to cover and when is the suitable time for them to conduct the study. And also some of the students, they might feel like they're not really familiar with the topic. And then they also sometimes feel like they're not really ready to be as a research student. And some of them, they also might think that they're not really sure what is the topic that they wanted to undertake in their study. And sometimes I found that the student seems like they have no idea at all what to do in their research. Okay, what happened? Okay, all right. And there are also worse scenario when I found that some of the students, they feel like they wanted to change the world shape. They wanted to solve the world problems instead of doing their research in their PhD. And some of the students, they sometimes try to be too ambitious in their research. And when we ask them what they wanted to do and what are the topic they wanted to conduct for their PhD, and they tell us this, that, and they wanted to solve this and they wanted to achieve that. But we as examiner, we as a supervisor, we found that this sounds too ambitious and also not researchable. And the worst scenario, the research is cannot achievable. All right. So by considering this, it actually give a big problem to the students. And we also don't know, is that because of they have no idea what to write in their research proposal, and they maybe not really understand what is research proposal is all about, and maybe they have no clue at all what they have to put or what they have to write in their research proposal. All right. So by considering that, yeah, if this is a question, are you going to solve the world's problem? Definitely the answer is big no. All right. So maybe I think I can see that we have 98 participants that you probably in the different stages, and maybe some of you still at the early stage, and maybe some of you in the middle of your journey, or maybe some of you at the end of the journey. You can simply write in the chat box whether you are in the first semester or you are second semester. At least I can see the population of the participant in this session. All right. Why did I start with this? I know those who are in this session, definitely you wanted to know research proposal, right? And maybe some of you already started, but you got stuck in the middle of your journey. Okay, don't worry. That is why I'm here today. My name is Asrul Nasid bin Masrom. You can call me Dr. Asrul. I'm a Deputy Dean Research, Publication and Development at our faculty, Faculty Technology Management and Business. I've been holding this position about 3 years, and I've been working as an academician at UTHM, I think more or less about 15 years. And before that, I've been working as a quantity surveyor at few companies, few organizations in Malaysia. I've been working with developers. I've been working with contractors as well as QS consultants. That is a bit about my working experience. Okay, being as an academician, definitely I've been involving in several activities, academics as well as research and development. So the information that I'm showing now is actually not to being show off, but it's actually just to show you that um, this is the activities that I've been gone through, that I've been developed throughout my career. So I get my PhD from Queensland University of Technology. I got my PhD in 2012. And then after a while, after been working for several years, I got another opportunity to pursue my postdoctoral at University of Melbourne in 2019 until 2020. Okay. All right, so if you ask me what is my background, what is my research interest is related to construction management in overall, but specifically my research interest is more on measuring satisfaction of participants who involved in the projects. On top of that, my research interest also related to project performance, and definitely I also have interest to do research in regards to construction procurement, construction law, as well as communication engagement in social infrastructure projects. So throughout my career, I've been involving in several tasks, being as a supervisor, being as a author, reviewers, as well as examiners. So today, definitely, I would like to share with you what I've experienced being a supervisor, and also before that, I've been experienced as a student. And after that, after I completed, I'm able to be as a supervisor, and also I got several opportunities to be examiners. So guys, you don't have to worry, because today, that's the reason why I'm here today, to share with you what is the best way for you to develop a winning research proposal. All right, this is a little bit about my humble and experience throughout my career as an academician. I received several awards. When I was doing my PhD at KUT, I got Outstanding HDR Student Awards in 2011. And on the slides, he's actually my supervisor, Professor Martin Skidmore. He's British, but been living in Australia for many years. All right. So there are a lot of challenges that I'm going to share with you throughout my presentation. How did I deal with him, and how did I, face the challenges to work with international supervisors, and how actually he deal with me, that I'm his international student from Malaysia. Okay. All right. So there are a list of awards that I received. I've been involving in research and innovation competition. I received silver, gold, platinum, so on and so forth. All right, so guys, please don't misinterpret all the informations. The reason why I'm showing you this information is not to be show off, but it's actually to give you some kind of motivation and also to give you some kind of encouragement. For those in this session, if you are actually a lecturer, you have to know that being as an academician is not only to do your teaching and learning, it's not only to cover first chapter until the final chapter, but we also have to use our talent and our knowledge in order to develop research as well as innovation. Okay. All right, just want to share with you before I go further to talk about what is the best way to develop a research proposal. I just want to share with you that I've been conducting this kind of knowledge sharing since 2019 and actively getting active, more active in 2020, 21 and 22. Also, I received a lot of invitation from UTHM, local universities, as well as international universities, public universities, as well as private universities. So whatever experience and also problems that I receive or that I um, attend from every single sessions, I think it's quite similar from one problem to another problem. So that's why I talked to Sonia. I think for this 2023, we have to start it as soon as possible just to share with those students who just registered or maybe in the middle of the journey about what is the best way to develop a good research proposal. Okay, so on top of that, this is only several information that I wanted to share with you that I've been conducting this KISS talk. KISS is actually stand for Keep It Simple Scholar, that I've conducted with RMIT student when I was in Melbourne in 2019. And I also been conducted 2 sessions with PhD students at University of Melbourne under Faculty of Architecture, Building and Planning during my postdoctoral session. So the problems, I think this session is more on how to develop a good thesis. Probably I'm not going to share with you today because 1.5 hours is not enough for me to share, but I will touch a little bit on it, what I've shared in this key talk. Maybe after 1 year or after you pass your proposal defense, and maybe after 2 years, you can ask me to conduct this talk because I'm going to share with you more specifically on secrets and also tips how to develop a good thesis by using these key secrets. Okay. All right. And I just want to share with you, I've been also involving and conducting a lot of knowledge sharings, as I mentioned, in 2019 and until now. So there are so many topics that I've touched according to my experience and also my expertise. And just to inform you that besides I'm very active in doing this knowledge sharing session, I'm also very active in sharing my knowledge and also my little experiences in this newspaper, local newspaper. So far, I managed to publish in Berita Harian, Utusan Malaysia, and there are several English like NST, I did once, and also several other newspaper in Malaysia like Sinar Harian, and also, if I'm not mistaken, not Metro, Cosmo. Yep. And this showing that several certificates that I received during my research and innovation at university level, national level, and also international level. All right, guys. So now, just want to ask you, are you ready to to be with me about 1 hour or 1.5 hours? If you're ready, you can show your thumbs up or you can give me any positive signs. Just give me some kind of energy for me to proceed my sharing after this.
Okay,
So are
okay.
you ready, guys?
Okay, ready.
All right, good. Okay, before that, I just want to get to know anyone of you here from UTHM. You can just simply uh, show or just write in the chat box you are from UTHM, from UKM, from other university. outside UTHM, or maybe you are from international universities, please, I'm more than happy to know that. All right, thank you very much, those from UTP, and thank you very much, those from UKM. All right, thank you very much from MSU, and okay, from Bangladesh, from UUM, thank you very much. From Manipur University, all right, cool. From Nigeria, okay, all right, thank you very much to all participants, not only from Malaysia, from all over the world. I'm so happy to see you this afternoon. All right, so this afternoon, I'm going, yeah, hi, hello from China. All right, I'm happy to share with you several tips, how to develop a good research proposal. And maybe at the end, if we still got time, I'm going to share with you what are the tips and secrets to make sure that you can defend your proposal confidently, interestingly, and also convincingly, according to your examiner's expectation. All right. Okay. Since we are in this session, so I like to make this session more kind of not formal. It's more kind of two-way communications. So this is my way in conducting, even though this is online session, but I always invite my participants to involve in my sharing. So that's why I open to those who are really interested to share what you are doing and what topic you are doing in your research or in your PhD or even masters. So I'm more than happy to get feedback from you guys. So if you're happy, please raise up your hand, or maybe you can get introduce yourself, and you have to tell me what topic that you are doing in your research with only 5 words. Anyone want to be the first person? Any participants would like to introduce yourself and to answer my question, why are you here today? And you can simply tell us what research that you are doing now within 5 words. Anyone? Volunteer? Anyone can volunteer first? All right, maybe we can start. Can I call Fazila Abdullah?
Yes, Prof.
Hi, Fazila, how are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah, maybe you can introduce yourself. Which country
I'm
are you from?
I'm Fazila Abdullah from Universiti Putra Malaysia. I'm doing a doctor in public health now, and my research is on. I'm doing mixed method study on acceptance to teleconsultation implementation among private general practitioners in Malaysia.
I think there is more than 5 words. All right. So Fazila, can you condense it to only 5 words?
Acceptance of GP in Malaysia for
Hmm.
teleconsultation implementation.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, Fazila, how long you been doing your research? Have you done your proposal defense, or you are still in the early stage?
I'm now doing analysis.
All right, so means that you've been doing your research probably more than 2 years or less than 2 years?
More than 2 years.
More than 2 years. So when are you expecting to complete everything?
August.
In August. All right, all the best. Thank you, Fazila, for your sharing. All right, anyone would like to share? We have 131 in this session now. Oh, this is big numbers. Thank you very much.
Hi, hello.
Hi.
Hi, Doctor. So, my name is Akida.
Yeah.
I'm actually a fresh graduate from UMT, Terengganu.
Okay.
I have just learned about your seminar today, so this is more like an ad hoc meeting for me. But currently, I haven't found any research for me, but I would like to do a research regarding synthesis of compound for medicinal purposes.
All right. Akida, yeah.
Yes.
Akida, are you doing a PhD or masters?
I'm planning to do my master's soon.
All right, so you just completed your bachelor degree.
Yes.
All right, interesting. All right, so thank you very much, and thank you very much for joining us. And hopefully, this session will be fruitful and helpful for you to develop your research proposal in the future. And yeah, if you need any assistance, simply can ask Sonia or myself after this. Yeah. All right, thank you, Akida. And anyone else wanted to share what you are doing or what topic or what research only within 5 words? Anyone? Last one.
Yes, yes.
Hi, Abdullah. How are you?
I'm fine, Alhamdulillah. I am Abdullah Ashur from Yemen. I am a PhD student in Newton University. My topic is about talk about deep learning in wind energy to increase the reliability and stability of ventilation wind energy in power grid. This is explained, not
Abdullah, can you
specific.
simplify the title, please? Only 5 words.
Okay, using deep learning to
Using
accuracy
deep
for
learning
wind.
for prediction. For prediction.
Yes,
Okay. Prediction of what?
wind energy, wind energy, wind
Wind
speed.
energy. Okay, wind energy.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. This is very interesting topic. Are you from Yemen? Are you in Yemen now?
No, I am in Malaysia.
You are in Malaysia. Which university are you attaching with?
Unitin.
Unit 10. All right. Thank you very
Yeah.
much, Abdullah, for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Last one. Last participants. Maybe would like to share with us on what they are doing.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah.
My name is Hanani Hamidu.
Yes, Hanani, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
I'm
How
good,
are you?
thanks.
I'm from Comoros Island, but now I'm doing a master degree of accounting at City University, Malaysia.
In which university?
City University, Malaysia.
Unity University. All right, cool.
Yes. And I'm doing my master of accounting over there.
All right.
So
What topic is your research?
my topic is the adoption of international financial accounting reporting IFRS in Comoros Islands in my country. Adoption.
Okay, adoption of
IFRS, International Financial Accounting and Reporting in my country.
Okay. The case study will be in your country, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. And how long you've been doing your research?
1 year.
1 year. Have you done your proposal defense?
Not yet.
Not yet. So when it will be done? Soon?
I think on
This coming
month.
Okay, all right. All the best. Okay, never mind. And by the way, thank you very much for joining us. And hopefully this session will be helpful for you, yeah? Hanani.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you very much. For those who are able to share your topic, your ideas in your research, and thank you for those who are from outside Malaysia. So we really appreciate that. And for those local students or international students, and I do really hope that this short and simple session will be helpful for you. And why did I ask you to condense and to simplify your long title become only 5 words? It's actually the first challenge that you have to face. If you're able, based on my English advisor and my I can say that she's my CFO. She said that if you're able to tell people within 5 words about your research, you are there, you are on track. But if you are struggling to explain to people with very long explanation, very wordy informations, you still not there yet because you are kind of struggling. Oh, what's actually my research topic? What is actually my research area? What is actually the main problem in my research? Seems like you're not really sure what is actually the disease in your research. Okay, so thank you very much for Haryati, for Abdullah, for Hanani and Akida for sharing your research topic. So all the best for you. And as I mentioned, in this session, I'm going to share with you how to make sure that the ideas, the big ideas and the ambitious idea can be done. You can make it as simple as you can, as sweet as you can, and also as short as you can. That is the main idea in doing research. Okay. All right. Why did I keep on saying that you have to make sure that you are not too ambitious? You have to be realistic in your research, because in doing research, I just give you an example. In doing PhD, definitely we have milestone. Anyone agree with me? If you agree, you can just show me thumbs up. Definitely, we have a milestone. So for those who are doing research, I can just simplify. Your milestone can be divided into 4 milestones. The first one, where you have to develop your proposal. And the second milestone is where you actually approaching your confirmation of candidature. This is the term that we use in Queensland University of Technology and the rest of the university in Australia. But in Malaysia, we normally use proposal defense. And some of the university also call it as the defense research proposal stage, the RP stage, or something like that. And after you pass this within 1 year or 1.5 years maximum, then you will proceed with the your progress as you plan. For instance, data collections, data analysis, so on and so forth. Before you reach to the final stage of final progress at the milestone 4, this is the place where you are doing your viva. Okay, right. This is the milestone, I think, normal milestone. You can just reflect to your timeline. Okay. All right. Those who are in this session, I assuming that you are just about registered or enrolled as a PhD student. That's why you are here. Or maybe you been doing your research within 3 months. Or maybe you've been your research up to 6 months. Or maybe you've been your research up to 1 year. Still not able to develop a good research proposal, or maybe you're still struggling to identify what is the research problem in my research. So if you are simply can tell me that you are in the first semester or second semester, you can simply write down in the chat box. So at least I can get an idea which stage are you now. This is something that very important. Okay, for those who just registered as a PhD student or master student, welcome to our club. Okay, that's why I'm here today to share with you what is the best way for you to develop this research proposal. But for those who maybe you've been gone through this session, if you like to share your experiences in developing your research proposal, you are most welcome. Please do share with others. If you wanted to stop me and then you wanted to share your experiences, please do so. I'm happy to allow you to share your experiences. Okay. Right. Anyone of you here still have no idea what to do in your research? Or maybe you got an idea, but it seems very rough idea. Or anyone of you here, you got the idea not from you. It's actually asked by your supervisor to do this instead of come from yourself. Or maybe you propose to your supervisor, but your supervisor diverted the ideas to somewhere or something else. Anyone? Or maybe you wanted to share your ideas, or you wanted to share your experience? Okay, no one. All the participants, 145 here, you have a very clear in your mindset that this is my research topic. This is the problem. If this is the case, good. Yeah. I'm happy to hear that. All right, guys. If you have the idea what to write and what to do in your research, that's okay, right? That you have to be happy with it. But the only concern is that even though you know what to investigate, what to do in your research, but when it comes to write, sometimes you got stuck. You don't know what to write in your research proposal. I do believe that. That's why you are here today, to get to know what are the information, what are the ingredients in order to write in the research proposal, or in order to write in the research in overall, or in order how to write in the thesis in general. Okay, thank you very much for your patience. All right, guys, I think I really like to put this PhD journey, and I try to make this analogy to make everyone can understand it in easy way, so that you can understand and you can imagine or you can reflect yourself to this mountain. You have to put yourself that you are climbing a high mountain, very big mountain. Okay. All right. So I think the first month, or I think the first day, yeah, once you enroll, I can categorize you still at the beginning stage. So maybe after you enroll, you are actually at this first X. This is the point. Yeah, this is the point. Can you see it? Can everyone see it?
Yes.
All right, cool. And then, may I know, in this session, any one of you just enroll as PhD or master student? Maybe less than 1 month. Anyone? You can raise up your hand, or you maybe can just write in the chat box. All right, Suhaila, thank you very much. Okay, Muhammad. Okay, thank you very much. Anyone? Okay. All right, maybe I can just get several further information. Okay, Sayang Prakash. Okay, thank you very much. Mage, okay. All right, Suhaila, can we communicate? Hi, Suhaila. How are you, Suhaila?
Hello.
Hi. Assalamualaikum, Suhaila.
Salam.
Suhaila dari mana? Where are you from? Which university are you attaching with?
From UTHM.
UTHM.
Yeah, Fakulti Alam Bina.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
UTM or UITM?
Alam.
UITM Shah Alam.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So are you doing masters or PhD?
PhD. Just enrolled on October last year. So this is my
Okay.
first semester.
So means that you are about, maybe you are in this second X. Maybe you've been doing that 3 to 6 months period, right?
Yes.
Now you are developing your proposal.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Laila. All the best to you. All right. And then just enroll. Just want to enroll for a master's. Okay, Karim, Kafayat. Okay, Karim, have you registered as a student or not yet? Okay, maybe you can just simply write in the chat box. And Sawayam Prakash. Hi, Sawayam. How are you, Sawayam? Can you hear me, Sawayam? Sawayam Prakash Bendanta. I'm not sure whether I'm pronouncing it correctly. Okay, never mind. Those who just started your study, maybe within 3 to 6 months, you are actually in the process of developing your research proposal, right? You try to identify what is the problem and what is the issues in your research area or in your research interest. So you wanted to know and you wanted to understand further on that. And after that, after 12 months, we're expecting that you are ready to do your research proposal defense, in which we're expecting that as an examiner as well as a supervisor. We hope that by this stage, you can produce chapter 1, 2, 3. Okay, so those who are in this session, I really beg you, please follow the timeline that you plan in the beginning stage of your journey. Don't drag research milestone or research plan. So basically, after you end expecting that you could develop like outlines, and you have to be careful. You have to be careful on that, and you have to make sure if your supervisor expecting that you have to read up to these numbers of papers, you have to follow. Because why? By this stage, yeah, after 12 months you doing your research, you need to be able to show where is the gap. Yeah, this is not the stage where you still don't know where to go, where to investigate. This is not the stage. If you are still facing that, even though you've been doing that more than 12 months, I will say that you are in trouble. I'm not scaring you, but you mind that you are in trouble. Okay. All right. Next, after you pass your research proposal defense, so definitely you will reach to the next stage, data collection. So normally the student will reach and will start the data collection after they do their research up to 1.5 years, or maybe after 2 years, they're starting to conduct their data collection, analysis, as well as research writing. I mean, thesis writing. And lastly, definitely you will reach to the final stage. It's a Viva session. Yeah. Okay. So this is the final stage of your journey. So you have to imagine that you have to climb up a big mountain. And those who are still in the early stage, your journey is still far away to go. And you're still not facing a lot of obstacle as compared to those who been doing this up to 12 months. See, there are so many hurdles and obstacles. In order for you to reach to the peak of the mountain, definitely that is not as easy as you thought. And after a while, in order for you to go down, definitely, in order for you to finish your journey, to reach to this Viva session or this completion stage, after you've been doing that 36 months or 42 months, definitely also it's not as easy as you thought. Okay. All right. Anyone of you here would like to say something about this analogy? Anyone would like to say something? Or maybe you wanted to reflect yourself. Which X are you now? Which point are you now? Anyone? I open to anyone. All right, I can see here. I can see Banu Yasmin. Hi, Banu Yasmin. How are you?
Hi, doctor.
How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Where are you from? And are you doing master's or PhD?
I actually completed doctor UTHM.
All right. Cool.
But I just wanted to listen to you showed the whole climbing, the whole stages I already climbed.
Cool.
Yeah, and your session is really good. I hope it will really help the new students, doctor.
All right, Banu, sorry to ask you, which faculty are you attaching with?
FPTP.
FPTP. Okay, may I know who's the supervisor? Who's your supervisor?
Dr. Sarah.
Dr. Sarah. Okay.
Sarah.
Okay, cool. Banu, maybe you can share a little bit in a simple word, which point that you think very challenging.
Initially, as you mentioned, Doctor, the ambition and real research is completely different. So 100% I agree that when we select the topic as a researcher, we feel, oh, we can do this. You know, when we come to the prepare the proposal defense, then so many things, of course, after discussion, so many things change. And the most difficult part is actually for me, it was after data collection, because proposal defense, I found a gap, but after collection, of course, is the more difficult for me to so many things, you know, coming up. You have to change some literature review, or sometimes you can't match with the objectives.
True.
So that was difficult, but Alhamdulillah, I managed, Doctor, with supervision and with the internal and external support. I really managed to complete it.
So have you done your Viva?
Final Viva already. So, Doctor.
Congratulations, Dr. Banu.
Thank you, Doctor.
All right. Thank you very much for still joining us and to support the new students here. And hopefully the experience that you mentioned just now will be guidance to the new students. Yeah.
Yes, okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. So maybe I can ask one more students in this session would like to share. Maybe those who just started your journey, or maybe you are about to do your proposal defense stage. Anyone? Okay, maybe I can call upon Faisal. Faisal, are you from UTHM or you are from other universities? Is Faisal here? Faisal? Okay, Faisal not here. That's okay. All right, maybe I can call someone from China. Liu Zirong. Hi, Liu. Liu, are you available to talk? Hi, Liu. Also not really. Okay, never mind. Okay, guys, that's okay. To move on. Okay, I just want to ask you to just reflect yourself. Which stage are you now? Whether you are A or B or C, you can just simply write in your chat box. Okay. All right, guys. Whatever stage are you now? Whether you just started, whether you are in the middle of your journey, or maybe you are approaching to the finishing line, you are actually your energy. If you are, if you can reflect that yourself as iPhone or smartphone, definitely everything can be done smoothly by considering current situation now. If you are still your energy like our Nokia phone those days, I used to use this phone in which not really, how to say, not really applicable at this point of time. So I'm just worried that you cannot complete your study successfully. So you have to reflect yourself. What energy are you having now? If your progress is very positive, your progress is your momentum is very high, so it's actually give you signs that at the end of the journey will be something positive happen. So that's why I said you are your energy. Okay, so hopefully you understand that. All right, guys, in doing research, before I go straight to the research proposal, because I do believe that everyone understand that what you are going to write in your research proposal, but some of you probably overlook of what I'm going to share with you. So one of the consideration that you need to really understand In doing research, you need to know whose satisfaction is your priority. Anyone can answer me? I give you the answer. Main supervisor, associate supervisor, external and internal examiners, your circle of friends, or no, none of the above answers. Anyone would like to answer my question, or maybe you'd like to write in the chat box? All right, neighbor Hussein says that supervisor. Okay, Nur Shazwani, supervisor, of course, right? And Raj Kumar, none. Okay, why? Reza, supervisor. Suhaila, none. Okay, Sibagani Diop. Okay, Sibagani, maybe I can get your response. Why do you say E is the answer? Sibagani, can you respond me? Sibagani Dube. Can you answer me? Why do you say E is your answer? Okay, never mind. Maybe Femi Aladetan. Femi Aladetan. The research
Okay,
is about. Yeah. Hi, Femi. How are you, Femi?
I'm fine. Good morning.
Yes. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
All right, Femi, may I know which university are you from and what topic that you are doing now?
Okay, I'm from a Nigerian university.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, and the university's name is Ekiti State University.
Okay, how long you been doing your research?
It's close to 2 years now.
2 years now. All right, cool. So it is important for you to consider this question. Whose satisfaction will be your priority? And then your answer is external and internal examiners. Why do you think so?
Because I believe at the end of the day, they will be the one to pronounce you whether you are qualified or not qualified.
Yes, correct. Agree. Okay,
so that is why I selected that.
Okay, cool. And what about, thank you very much.
Then concerning my topic, you asked earlier.
Yeah.
Yes, if I should summarize in 5 words, I would say personnel services and student achievement.
Okay, thank you very much for the sharing. All right, I can see that Mat Nizamul Haq, you give me E, none of the above answer. So what's the best answer?
Hello, this is Nizamul Haq. Whose satisfaction will be my priority? It should be myself, because I am doing my PhD. So I am writing my thesis. So according to my thesis, I only know my what is my research gap and what is my actually topic.
Wow. Okay, Nizamul, may I know which university are you from?
I am from Putra Business School in Malaysia.
How long you been doing that?
I'm in 2nd semester actually.
Okay, interesting. Okay, what is your original country?
I am from Bangladesh.
Bangladesh. All right, thank you very much, Nizamul. Okay, all right, cool. Okay, guys, I just want to share with you the answer. Oh, where's the answer? Okay, right. Thank you very much, Nizamul. You gave us the right answer. To me, based on my experience being as a PhD student, based on my experience being as examiners as well as supervisors. But I think in doing research while we are doing PhD, the most or the highest priority for us to satisfy is ourselves. You have to make sure that what you do. Sonia, can you just silence the participants?
Sure, Prof.
All right, whatever you are doing, so whatever chapters that you're producing, you need to make sure that you're happy with it first before you hand it to your supervisor, before you send out to your external supervisor, external or associate supervisor, or external associate supervisor, or external examiners, or circle of friends. You need to make sure that your proposal or your document, whatever you write, must be achieve your own satisfaction first. This is something very important. So based on my experience, what did I do? How did I do in order to reach my my satisfaction first before I send to my Martin Skidmore? I developed few chapters, and then I asked several friends. I asked my English advisors. I asked my international or Australian master students. So when I received comment from them, so I correct it, and then I develop again and again. And once I feel okay, confident with the document, then I send out to my supervisor. So, but I can see that most of the students nowadays, they just simply write and first draft and then simply send out to the supervisor. And they're expecting that the supervisor will check for them. This is not the right way in doing research. Yes, maybe some of them said that, oh, you seems like you are lying to your supervisor. But to me, definitely your supervisor would like to see the best version of your works, not rubbish. So that's why you need to make sure that you give something good to your supervisor, and how to develop the good, or I mean the highest, the best quality of your work. Definitely you need to ask your reliable friends or your reliable circle to check it first. So for my case, I have my international students from Australia. So simply I can get him to check my works. So I'm so happy because he commented here and there. My English advisor also, Asrul, you have to change this, you have to simplify the words this, and you don't have to put a lot of flower in your words, in your sentences. So I took it as my challenge. So I learned from there. I used that comment as my learning process. So that's why definitely you need to reach your satisfaction first before you send out to those, to your supervisors, your external supervisors, or your external examiners. Definitely. So hopefully you understand what I'm trying to share here. Right, guys. In doing research, definitely you need to really understand what are the ingredients. Without these ingredients, definitely your research will be bland, will be something boring, not really attractive, not really interesting. So for those who are doing research, you need to be always curious in your research. You need keep on asking yourself, am I doing the right thing? And what happened if I change this? What happened if I add this? Sonia, still I can hear voice from the participant. Maybe you can just
Sure, Prof. Sure.
and then on top of that, you need to have that eagerness in your research. If you wanted to do something related to energy savings, okay, once you got the idea, you have to keep on asking yourself. And also you need to be eager. If you don't have that eagerness, definitely your research cannot be done successfully. Okay. And also you need to be willing to learn a new things. Sometimes, as what Dr. Banu said, we plan to go this way, and during the journey or in the middle of the journey, something happened. For instance, you cannot get the particular person that you plan to interview, then you have to change. And once you change the respondents, sometimes you need to change your objective, or sometimes you need to change your research question. So you have to be ready with that. If you are not willing to learn, or you are not willing to do this kind of this kind of situation, to dealing with this situation, definitely you cannot do, or you cannot complete your thesis or your research successfully. All right. And another ingredient, you need to have a very high energy. That's why most of my friends always say that I'm so energetic. I have no choice. If you just like oh, I can do this, I can do that, I know how to do this. Oh, but no, I'm not going to do this every today, maybe tomorrow, and you seems like lack of energy. Definitely, you cannot do your research. Then another ingredient, you have to be able to imagine. You are developing this, and then this is the research question. This is and this data. How is actually going to be looked at the end of the day? You need to imagine that. If you have no imagination, what is going to be happen throughout your journey, 3.5 years or 3 years? You don't have to think that you will be successfully, achieve at the end of your journey. And you have to be flexible as well. So as I said, if you plan to get this particular person, but this particular person is not available on that particular day because he's overseas for 2 months, what's going to be happen? Are you still waiting for him to get back, to come back to Malaysia, and then later you will interview him? You will waste your time. And same goes for those who are doing experiments. If you are not able to, I just give you example during the COVID-19 era, during the pandemic. We plan to go into the lab, do this, your research in the lab, but you are not allowed to go to your lab. What's your plan? Are you flexible to do something else? Or you still stick to your research? You still feel like, oh no, I'm not going to change this because this is my research interest. This is my passion. If you are not flexible, definitely you will not finish your study. And doing research, you also required to have this kind of sense of judgment in order to think whether this thing is right for you to do, or maybe you think that, oh, I think this is not sufficient, I have to do something else. So the judgment skills also highly required in doing your research. And lastly, definitely you are required to have highly concentration in your research. So that's why from the beginning, or from the first or initial stage of your journey, if you still remember the big mountain, your first X in the down first point, from there you have to start your concentration, not in the middle, not at the end, not after your viva. So once you enroll, there is the point where you have to start your concentration on your research. If you think that, oh, I just enroll first and then I will concentrate later and I will focus after that, this no way. Okay, there's no such thing for you to be successful if you are acting like that. So in other words, in doing research, if you wanted to be a successful researcher or PhD student, these are the ingredients that you have to consider. All right. And you also need to know what are the criteria for you to pass in your research proposal defense. So based on the real scenario I took and I showed you here, I still keep the form for my research proposal form that I submitted after I've developed my proposal within 3 months period of time, and then I have to submit to my supervisor and also the management, and I received the comment from the panel and also from the supervisor. So basically what they really concerned is actually about your introduction. You need to be able to write a very interesting and also, how to say, attractive introduction. So for instance, in my case, my research is related to contractor satisfaction. I didn't start with contractor satisfaction. I started with something related to performance. Yeah, project performance. I give a very broad view of project performance. That is actually my key point to attract the examiners or the panels or the supervisor to read further about my research. And then after that, you also need to make sure that what is your research problem? Whether your research problem is clear enough or it's sufficient enough for you to investigate in your PhD. So this where is the point, as I said, you don't have to be ambitious. You don't have to be too, how to say? Yeah, too ambitious, and then you have to be realistic. So some of the students, they might think that, oh, in doing PhD, I have to develop this policy. I have to change the guidelines. I have to change the framework. I have to develop this and that. But it's actually in doing research, especially for PhD, if you able to add one single dot in which from the existing one there's no dot, and then you just add that dot according to current research gap, that is your contribution. That is PhD. So that's why you need to read and read and read. You need to explore, and then you need to be able to highlight what is your key research problem. So I think in a simple way, if you wanted to give a medicines to the patient, you need to know what is the disease, what is the problem, right? So what is the best way? I will explain to you later on. So I just want to give you the criteria that highly required or highly considered in proposal research stage, proposal research defense stage that you have to consider. So introduction, research problem, your originality of contribution of knowledge. This is also very, very highly concerned by the panels. And of course, you need to be able to prove to them, according to current literature, this is the gap. Yeah, so you have to conduct a preliminary literature review extensively, comprehensively, and substantively. Yeah, okay. And you also need to be able to give an idea about what is your research design. How are you going to conduct your research in order to achieve your research objective and your research problem? Okay, and on top of that, definitely, as I mentioned, your duration is only 3 years to 3.5 years period of time. If you are too ambitious, you said that you want to achieve this objective 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 10. Definitely 3.5 years is not enough for you. For other example, if you say that, oh, doctor, I would like to use this method A, and then we'll followed by method B, and then after that I will do this method C, and followed by method 4, because you say, oh, PhD must be integrated between these 4 methods, then you will get PhD. All right, I just want to tell you the truth based on my experience. My research method is only single research method. I use survey by using questionnaire. That's it. I didn't use interview. I didn't integrate with case study. I didn't integrate with any survey by using interviews. Why? You have to make sure that your research question, your research objective, as long as it can be achieved by using single methods, that's your PhD. Enough. You don't have to crack your head. But I'm not very sure. Some of the university, they might think that by combining between method A and method B, then you will award a PhD. Or maybe some of the university, they said, oh, 2 methods is not enough. You have to integrate 3 methods in your data collection, then we will give you PhD. It's different university, different kind of way thinking about research design. So you have to discuss further with your supervisor. Don't quote my words by saying that, oh, Dr. Asrul said single method also can get PhD. Why I have to choose these 7 methods? All right, don't use that, please. Just but my advice here is that you need to discuss further with your supervisor. All right, guys. in doing research proposal, I think this is very common. Everyone knows that. Everyone really got the ideas, and maybe you already gone the session or the stage, yeah, in order to develop a research proposal. So I do believe that everyone in this session, you already clear what is the definition of research and what is the definition of proposal. So I just want to give you very brief example of definition. That research proposal is actually something that explain what you are going to do or what are you going to investigate with a proper timeline and also proper research methodology. Yeah, and this is actually must be reflected to your research discipline. I mean, or your discipline. For instance, in my case, I'm doing research within a context of construction management because my discipline is construction. So that's why in order to show this is a PhD, so that's why I integrated not to say module, I integrated we call it as philosophy, or we call it as theory or framework that been developed by other disciplines. So that's why I cross I mean information from other disciplines, for instance, business, psychology, and also economics, because my research is more closely to business, because I'm doing something related to satisfaction, in which satisfaction is commonly investigated in business research area and also in psychology as well as economics. So my challenge was that how did I integrate this kind of theory, this kind of formula into construction management perspective. So I'm going to share with you after this. Okay. So basically, research proposal is a simple, idea that you wanted to tell to your supervisor and also your panels, that saying that this is something achievable and also researchable. So this is very important for you to consider while you're developing your research proposal. All right. And then you need to know what is actually the ingredients in research proposal. So that's why the question is, what is in it? So it depends on disciplines. I'm not saying that whatever I'm going to share with you in this session is something that compulsory you have to follow. It's no such way. Yeah. So you have to reflect to your discipline. But in my case, considering that we are science social, so definitely there are few information that you need to consider. Maybe some of you from engineering or science, the way that you're reporting or developing your research proposal could be different as compared to us who are actually from science social. So definitely, normally in science social, we have introduction, and maybe the way that we explained it is could be different as compared to the rest from engineering as well as from science. Yeah. All right. In doing your research proposal, so basically, the most important thing is that you need to address what is the significant problems. What is the problem? And then the problem needs to be supported by facts and figures. Normally, I will ask my student, please support your problem with facts and figures or percentage. I don't want to just read your problem in a single line, single sentence. That's it. No, to me, that is not really convincing. That is not sufficient to be as a problem statement. So you need to get from somewhere. So for instance, in my case, I will base on report that produced by CIDB. Or maybe I will ask my student to get report from any professional body. Or maybe I will ask my students to get from any, magazine that related to construction. And in other words, you need to support from a valid sources. Okay, so for instance, magazine or report, yearly report, and must be the recent ones. Okay, all right. And then the second one that you need to consider in your research proposal, definitely the appropriate methodology. If you have 4 objectives, or if you have 4 research questions, you need to make sure that the 4 research objective and 4 research question can be achieved by considering this methodology. So in my case, why did I say that I have only one method? Because by using this survey, by using questionnaire, it actually helped me to achieve all my research question and also help me to achieve all my objective. That's it. But the way that I report my data, the way that how to say, I craft my thesis, definitely that's a way how to uplift the level from doing like a very common or very simple report. So I did something else in order to make sure that this is PhD level. Okay. And the third one, definitely you need to explain briefly how are you going to collect your data and how are you going to analyze your data later on. And definitely you need to explain or you need to provide information in regards to your plan. So that's why in your research proposal, time frame is very, very important. If you are given only 3 years, so you have to show or prepare the timeline or work program for the 3 years, and then what are the activities that you are going to conduct and how are you going to conduct this, and also to achieve every single activities or single that you plan according to this 3 years period. So your time frame will be, or your work program will be an evidence for you to show that you are on track or you are behind schedule or you are ahead of your schedule. Okay. All right. So in research proposal, definitely you need to write the title, and the title needs to be something very catchy and also need to be sounds very suitable to the current situation and also not too outdated. Okay. So by looking at this scenario, now we are really concerned about big data. We are really concerned about technology. We are really concerned about AR, augmented reality, virtual reality, and so on and so forth in my research area. So in order to make sure that the panels and also my supervisor will get, attracted with the research proposal, so you have to make sure that the title or the research that you are going to develop must be related to the current situation. Okay. All right. This is only example. The list of title that reflects to current situation. For instance, assessing the about capabilities of contractors in monitoring and controlling construction cash flow in Nigeria, use of alternative or ADR mechanism in settlement for construction project in, I think this is also in Nigeria, and exploring a potential application of big data analytic in Malaysia service industry. This is only example. And we can see that the second last, adoption of virtual value management workshop or something. This, if you look at to this, the title, it's kind of give you, how to say, a very nice kind of information, and to show that this research is really related to current situation. So you have to think creatively. Yeah. All right, guys. So in doing research proposal, also you need to provide table of content, definitely, to guide your readers, to guide your panels, to help them to make sure that it can tally whatever you are putting in your table of content, and also in your the whole or the entire document from chapter 1 to chapter 3. And also some of the students, they will get trouble in developing a good and convincing this abstract. Some of them, they just simply give very simple sentences without giving the problems. Sonia, can you help me to
Yes, sure, Prof. Sure, Prof.
the sounds? Thank you very much. All right, and then some of the students, they're not putting the problems, the key problem in the abstract. All right, so what you have to do is that if you are developing your abstract, definitely you need to consider this IMRAC. I stand for issues, methods, results, application, and also your conclusions, or your maybe implication on that particular stage. Yeah, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Considering that you still have no results, so definitely you are not reporting your results. So maybe you can just simply say that what is your expected, expected result that you think will get from this research. So you have to explain, and then definitely you need to highlight what is the contribution of your research to the practical as well as to the body of knowledge. All right, for the introduction, as I mentioned earlier in my beginning presentation, you need to be able to explain the background. I'm so sorry to the participant. Can you mute your microphone, please? Okay. All right. And then you need to make sure that the background information from general to the narrow one. Yeah. So definitely for the introduction, normally it actually carries only 10% of your proposal. Don't write too long introduction. So what you have to write in your introduction, you just give them brief review about what is your idea. So as I said, like my case, even though I'm doing research on contractor satisfaction, but I started with project performance. I give very broad view of performance, and then I define what is project performance. Project performance can be measured based on objective measures and also subjective measures. And my main concern for my research is more on subjective measures because not many research done on that yet at that particular time. Then definitely you have to follow by your research problem, your research question, as well as your research objective. I just want to give you an example. In order for you to pass your research proposal defense, you need to be able to highlight or to address your research problem convincingly, clearly, and interestingly. You have to make sure that you have to consider that your research problem is where you able to catch your panel's eyes, because this is the how to say, this is the point that for your research proposal. If you are not really able to how to say, to grab your panel attention to read and to understand your research proposal, I'm just worried that you cannot pass your proposal defense, because for this stage your research problem is the most significant section. So that's why I always remind my student, please, 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 you have to imagine this way. You give them first paragraph, your first problem briefly. Then when they read your first paragraph with the first line of problem and then supported by percentage, by facts and figures, and then they will got shocked. Okay, that's good sign. And then you have to continue with your second problem. You narrow it down. You give more punch, and then you give more facts and figures. If they found that, oh, we have to do something because this is the disease is going to be spread off if we are not going to give the solution. You have to put it that way. And then the final paragraph, your third paragraph, you need to give them more crucial situation. Please look, if this not going to be solved, we are going to die together. So you have to put that situation in your research problem. If your panel or your supervisor read through your research problem and then they still can give you smile, very sweet smiles, believe me, your research problem is not strong enough yet. Okay, so you, as I said, you have to satisfy yourself first. You need to read your research problem and then you have to feel confident first with your research problem, then you can send to your supervisor. If you still feel 50-50, or if you still feel like I'm not very sure whether my research problem is good enough or not, please don't send to your supervisor. But you have to put your time frame. If you still remember, your time frame is only 3 years. You have to make sure that you be able to write, or you have to be able to develop your research proposal within the maximum within 3 months. Then from there you have to refine here and there. Yeah. So you how to develop a good research proposal? Research problem. You need to write. You need to read. You need to explore. If you just sit and you just based on one particular resources, it's not enough for you. Yeah. Okay. And then you have to develop your research objective as well as research question. Normally, we will tell it your research objective together your research question. So like in my case, my research objective to define what are the factors that influence the contractor satisfaction, and to examine the most significant factors that influence the contractor satisfaction, and to examine or to investigate the relationship between dependent variables and independent variables that influence the contractor satisfaction, and lastly to develop contractor satisfaction model or something like that. Then the research question must be related to the research objective. That's how actually you develop your research section, research problem section, research objective, as well as your research question. All right, you have to put it this way. If you have a problem, or if you don't know what is actually your research problem, you have to do this triangle, right? So I just give you example. Problem A is flu. Flu is very common, yeah? You have the first problem, all right? So you can just simply say that in your area, how many percentage, how many people got flu for long duration, and then the second problem, you support with the second problem. We call it as a you can see that there are a lot of problems in coughing. Many people got cough for several duration and still not recover yet. And then you have to give another problem, lung problems. Numbers of people or numbers of community who got these lung problems keep on increasing from years to years. And then the numbers who actually I have to say not survive also keep on increasing from years to years. So this is something big issue now, and the community, the expert, the the researchers, all these professors need to do something. If we are not do something, this problem not going to be solved. So you have to be able to draw your ideas like this in your problem statement. This is the keyword, yeah, that I can share with you in order to help you if you are still struggling to define what is your problem actually in your research. This is the best approach. I think the simplest approach that you can write in your problem statement section. Okay. All right. So I think I'm not going to read through what is the content of research problem because I already explained it clearly. And maybe you can also highlight in terms of practical issues and also in terms of theoretical research problem that you discover there is a lacking here and there. Also, you can support in your problem statement. Okay. All right. So as I said, if you still remember the ingredients, you have to be curious all the time. You have to be eager to know and to know more and more and more. So that's why in developing your research proposal, particularly in this problem statement section, you need to have that kind of ingredients. So if you think that there is issues in practical, so you have to ask what will happen if the problem is not solved. You have to ask who will feel the consequences if this still no solution. And does the problem have wider relevance? You have to ask yourself. Keep on asking yourself why you developing this problem statement stage. All right. So yep. For this developing your problem statement, so definitely you need to tally with your research aim as well as your research objective. Don't try to how to say, if you are too ambitious, I'm just worried that your panel will say that, oh, Mr. A, this is such a very good proposal and your problem statement is very, very clearly stated, but I'm just worried if you cannot achieve within this 3 years period of time. Okay, so you have to remember that. All right, so I think that I'm going to share with you the slides, so at least you can read further after this in order to know what is the best way for you to develop your research problem statement by considering what is your research aim, what is your objective, as well as your research question. All right, guys, definitely in doing research proposal is not only important for you to cover your first chapter, in which consists of introduction, problem statement, as well as research scope, research objective, and research aim. But also you need to be able to write a good literature review section or literature review chapters, in which it requires you to be able to synthesize your literature in your field, and then you need to be able to criticize, and then you need to be able to critiques or to discuss critically what has been done and what's still not done yet until today. Okay, and then you need to, it's not about you reporting this have done this and this particular researchers done that, and then Asrul, Masrom developed this, and then Sonia developed that. It's not about that. You need to be able to compare. Then you have to find out what are the similarities and what are the differences. Then you have to highlight, and then you have to come up with your own words. If there are similarities, why they are similar? If there are differences, why they're different? You have to be able to discuss critically, deeply with your own word. That is where we can see that whether this particular person have that kind of sense to get this PhD. Otherwise, if you just report, if you just inform, is still, we can say that your level to get PhD is still not there yet. Okay. All right, how to develop your research gap? And yeah, in other words, besides you highlight what has been done in your literature review, the other important part is actually to highlight what is the research gap. So this is very common words that you will hear from your panels or from your examiners or even from your supervisor or even from your friends. If you discuss or if you are presenting something during in the conference or your colloquium or something like that, people will simply ask you, all right, thank you very much for your sharing. May I know what is your research gap? This is very common. So how are you going to address your research gap convincingly, extensively, comprehensively, so you can follow this final method? So where you can simply highlight your main concept or your main topic, and then followed by the subtopic or the sub-concept. And then you also can highlight any related or relevant existing models or framework or guidelines in your research area. And then you have to simplify what are the areas still undiscovered yet until today. That is your research gap. So in my case, in my case, I simply say that contractor satisfaction still not there, not extensively investigated yet in 2008. During my time when I was doing my PhD. The latest research done on contractor satisfaction was 2001, and then I was doing my research on 2008. So within that 7 years, there's none research done on that. So there must be reason behind that. So that's why I investigated, and I found that that is something very important for me to highlight, that contractor also someone that very important in the project, that we need to consider their feeling as well, not only client. Even though there are so many research done on client satisfaction, but I challenge. I said, we also need to consider contractor satisfaction as well, particularly in Malaysia, because there's no research done on contractor satisfaction in Malaysia at that particular time. So that's why I took that challenge. So you have to reflect to yourself. You can use this funnel, and then you try to arrange and organize the information accordingly until you identify, you already filter what has been discovered and what is still undiscovered until today. Then you have to highlight this is your research gap in which you wanted to explore more further. Okay. All right. For the research design and methodology, definitely you need to highlight, and then you need to have at least brief idea what are you going to conduct, how are you going to reach, how are you going to achieve the objective, even though you are still got time to achieve that, but at least by one year or 1.5 years, you have something in your mind. In order to achieve this objective one, I'm going to conduct this survey by using questionnaire. in order to achieve this objective 2, I'm going to conduct this by using case study, by using interviews. At least you have that kind of ideas. Then during the session, definitely the panel will advise you whether it can be done or you have to change accordingly. So that's why, as I said, if you still remember the ingredients, you also need to be flexible. If you are too rigid, if you are too stubborn to stick with whatever you plan, I'm just worried you cannot finish your PhD successfully. Okay. All right. In your research proposal, if you have or if you conducted any preliminary investigation or preliminary experiment or preliminary interviews, you also can provide those information in your research proposal to show I've done this initial stage, so this is the result. You also able to do that. Maybe you have done several pilot tests or several pilot study by asking your potential respondents. For in my case, I asked several contractors. I also provide those kind of information in the research proposal. This is also quite important and also helpful to show that, yes, this research is really, I mean, there is demand of about your research. So once you conducted a few interviews, this actually give a sign and also can be as an eye-opener to your panel by saying that, oh, this research is suitable for the community and for the body of knowledge as well as for the practical. So if you think that, or if you plan to conduct this preliminary investigation, those are from construction management area or maybe other research area, so please do so. Yeah, at least you got something to show to your panel. But whatever it is, you have to discuss with your supervisor further. All right, so definitely you need to understand what is research design. So I'm not simply say that if your research A and then this is the method. If your research B, this is the method. It depends on your research paradigm. If you are qualitative, if you are doing qualitative research, maybe questionnaire is not suitable for you. Maybe interview, you survey by interview or case study by interview will be the best. And if you are your research paradigm is qualitative, there may be few other ways for you to consider. So as a researcher, as a PhD student, please read more and explore more. You have to really understand what means research paradigm and what is the options that we have in doing research. If your research is qualitative, what is the definition of qualitative? If you are doing your research as quantitative, what is the definition of quantitative research? So you need to really understand that before you decide, oh, I'm going to this way or I'm going to that way. So as I said, research design is a framework for you to conduct your research methods and techniques by the researchers, but you need to make sure that it's actually really suitable for your research paradigm. Yeah. So in order to decide, you have to discuss further with your supervisor. All right, guys. The rest of the information that you need to include in your research proposal is timeline. As I said, you need to show and you need to provide the work program as well as the thesis outline. Sometimes not necessarily for you to provide this thesis outline at this point of time. It depends on your university or it depends on your supervisor. And definitely you also need to be able to highlight what is the significance of your research and what are the significant implications of your study to the body of knowledge as well as to the practical. And definitely you need to provide the list of references. And when we talk about references, you need to be able and you need to really care about your references. You need to highlight and you need to provide the latest references. If you have something has been conducted in 1986, you have to justify it. Maybe you have one theory or two theory that has been developed in 1960, like in my case. Satisfaction has been done years ago, and then it's been developed in 1930s, 1950s, 1960s. So I cited those kind of references, but not many. But majority of my references are dominated by research that been conducted within 10 years period of time. So if you prepare your references, make sure that it can be said that 70% of your references are the latest one within 10 years period of time. Okay, don't use the outdated one, please. All right, how many words? Normally 10,000 words. It depends on your university. I'm not saying that this is the rigid ones or the compulsory ones. It depends on your center of graduate school. So you have to check with your universities, your own university, how many words and how many pages. Different university, they have different guidelines. All right, so where and what should you begin with? So it depends on your interest, and you have to, maybe you can base on your experience, maybe you can base on someone's experience, maybe you can ask your supervisor whether your idea that you wanted to proceed in your research will be done or not. So whatever it is, in other words, it needs really reflect to your interest. If you are doing something not really tally to your interest, definitely it can be done successfully, believe me. Yeah, like in my case, I'm not really interested in doing something related to software or technologies, so that's why I try to get rid from that kind of perspective. So my research interest or my interest is more on social factors, more on subjective matters. So that's why I go for satisfaction measurement. Yeah, so you have to ask yourself which direction that you want to go further. Yeah, don't just to fulfill someone's expectation, so you go to do this research. Please don't do that. All right, okay. I think how should I approach the literature? I think I already mentioned that you don't have to just inform on, you don't have to just report, but you have to discuss, you have to argue it, you have to how to say, critique it nicely and also professionally. All right, this is on the example. How are you going to express or address your research gap? This is on the example that I did in my thesis, where I just simply categorize any information or any research done on psychology. I already listed several perspectives or several elements in marketing, business, and also economics. But after that, I explained how actually it's totally different as compared to the the research that done particularly on construction management. All right. And also, if you are in the stage of explaining or developing your research methodology, you can also do something like this, very simple and also attractive and yet informative, where you can start with explain what is your philosophies, whether you are positivism or interpretivism, or whether your approaches is deductive or inductive, or what is your methodologies, whether qualitative or quantitative, and so on and so forth. So you have to design, you have to imagine, as I ingredient of doing research, you need to be able to imagine this way. So by having this kind of creativity, innovative in your thesis or in your research proposal, definitely it will give you, I think, a good, positive, positive marks, yeah, from the panels. Because by showing this very simple, but yet it's very informative, then the panel will think that, oh, this student is very creative and also innovative in conducting his research or her research. And also you can plan or prepare this kind of diagram in order to link between your phase in your data collection, any phases that you have, and then how actually you link together with the objective, as I said earlier. So by showing this very simple diagram also will help you to, how to say, to pass your proposal defense successfully, believe me. Okay, all right. So what is the tips to write your research proposal? So definitely you need to write everything as simple as you can, and then you have to break large block of paragraph to small paragraph. The maximum sentences in one paragraph, just make it up to 4 sentences. If you write more than 4 sentences, it can be considered as a big and large paragraph, which is not good, which is not simple. Okay, and then you have to be able to highlight your limitation in your research. You have to be honest to your panel as well as your supervisor. If you are not considering this scope of research, you have to tell them. If you are only focusing on this, you have to inform them clearly. Okay, and then in doing a good proposal will help your reader to write and skim easily about your ideas, and then they can see the logical ideas clearly in your research proposal as well as your thesis later on. Okay, all right, the final tips, just to make sure that the information is nicely written, the feasibility and logical foundation of your project is clearly defined. You can address your focus in your research proposal, and it needs to be width and depth in your literature, and definitely you need to highlight and show that you understand with the current situation. Okay, in doing research is about justification method or written methodology chapters is tally or match with your research question as well as your research objective. All right, this is only an idea how you can improve and do some self-assessment on what you have done in your research proposal later on. Maybe you can just simply rate through in terms of clarity, in terms of consistency, in terms of how critical you discussed it. You can just simply do this kind of measurement. All right, this is only example. All right, so before I end my presentation, I just want to inform you that doing PhD, you can do this kind of metaphor in which we have a lot of idea at initial stage, in which we can just simply reflect it to a branch of a tree. Yeah, a lot of branches and also a lot of leaf in the tree. So in order to make sure that people can understand what you are doing, you have to chop here and there. And then you have to compare the existing ideas. So this is the existing. The middle one is the existing. But in doing research, you need to be able to show us one single line about your idea, about your research problem, about your research interest in one single line. If you still not able to show in one single line, means that you still not there yet. But for those who are in the early stage, definitely I can say that you are at this level because you have a lot of things to read. You have a lot of ideas. And after a while, after you pass your proposal defense, definitely the panel will ask you to chop here, to chop there, to reconsider this and to reconsider that. Definitely you narrow down the ideas. And until at the end of the day, you will be able to show one single line in your PhD research. All right, so as examiners, definitely they will concern about what is the initial overview, yeah, and then they will review your literature, whether it's comprehensively and extensively done or not. And also they will consider about your design of your study, whether it's sensible or not sensible, doable or not doable, achievable or not achievable. And then the presentation of the result needs to be how to say logic and needs to be interesting. So that's why you need to be able to think creatively, in which after you conducted data analysis by using any softwares, don't just dump everything in your thesis or in your research. So you have to be able to pick which one is the most significant ones. Then you have to address and you have to push that result. And then the panel also consider about how did you discuss and do the conclusions. and they will also consider the summative overview from chapter 1 until the final chapters. This is the examiner's point of view. Yeah. All right, guys. I think that's all, Sonia, about my presentation today. I don't want to drag so